Hello students, today we will discuss the poem of Sujata Bhatt, Voice of the Unwanted Girl. Sujata Bhatt was born in Ahmedabad. She was a graduate of the Writers' Workshop University of Iowa. She has been called one of the finest poets alive today. Voice of the Unwanted Girl, as the title states, is the articulation of a victim girl child who questions the inhumanity and horror of female infanticide. Female infanticide, Kanya Bhrun Hatya. The poem, taken from the anthology My Mother's Way of Wearing a Sari, written with rare sensitivity and social concern, critiques patriarchy and demands for a world in which gender discrimination are erased. Mother, I am the one you sent away when the doctor told you I would be a girl. In the end, they had to give me an injection to kill me. Before I died, I heard the traffic rushing outside, the monsoon slush, the wind sulking through. Your beloved Mumbai, I could have clutched the neon blue. No one wanted to touch me except later in the autopsy room when they knew my mouth would not search for anything and my head could be measured and bent, cut apart. I looked like a sliced pomegranate. The fruit you never touched, Mother, I am the one you sent away. When the doctor told you I would be a girl, your second girl, afterwards, as soon as you could, you put on your grass green sari. The orange stems of the parijatak blossoms glistened in your hair. Afterwards, everyone smiled, but now I ask you to look for me, Mother. Look for me because I won't come to you in your dreams. Look for me, Mother. Look, because I won't become a flower. I won't turn into a butterfly, and I'm not a part of anyone's song. Look, Mother, look for the place where you have sent me. Look for the unspeakable, for the place that can never be described. Look for me, Mother, because this is what you have done. Look for me, Mother, because this is not God's will. Look for me, Mother, because I smell of formaldehyde. I smell of formaldehyde. And still, I wish you would look for me, Mother. So, the poem is about female feticide, which is the biggest social evil of India. Voice of the Unwanted Girl by Sujata Bhatt focuses on the pathetic condition of women in India. The gender discrimination and inequality showed to them defeat the whole purpose of women empowerment. Sujata Bhatt is one of the finest living poems. In this poem, she has voiced her concern about gender bias and gender discrimination. In our society, girls are treated as inferior to boys. गर्ल्स और बॉयज़ को बराबर नहीं समझा जाता है. गर्ल्स को inferior माना जाता है बॉयज़ की तुलना में. The birth of a girl is considered a misfortune. The technique that helps to determine the sex of the unborn child is used against the girl child. If the expected baby is a girl, it is destroyed. That is why the difference between the numbers of boys and girls is widening day by day. In this poem, the unborn girl child is a speaker who has been denied the right to live by a brutal and heinous act of fetus killing. The act of fetus killing means killing the child before its birth. This irrational act has adversely affected the male-female ratio in India. The number of girl child has fallen alarmingly. The preference of the male child and non-acceptance of the female child result in such evils. It can raise severe social issues as well as a result of an imbalance of nature. The poem Voice of the Unwanted Girl begins with a voice of protest against female feticide, a cruel act. As the title suggests, the poem's speaker is an unborn girl who is brutally and thoughtlessly killed after determining that it was a girl. It is deplorable to find discrimination against a girl child in this modern age. The poem reveals the cruel act of people. In the poem, the fetus shares her views on both stages, that is, before killing and afterwards. The unborn girl child pathetically complains to her mother when she is denied birth in this world. The decision of killing the unborn child by her parents, especially by the mother, fills her with sadness. The tone of agony and distress is felt in the poem. There is sadness and pain expressed over the non acceptance of the girl child. The pain and pathos could not undermine the protest. The act of killing the unborn child had left her desires unfulfilled. Before her birth, when she was in her mother's womb, she experienced the world's activity outside. She could hear the traffic rushing and the monsoon slush, but the callous design of patriarchal hegemony snatched the opportunity from her to see and enjoy the world outside. She was not allowed to enjoy the beautiful environment. She was not allowed to live, grow, and flourish. It was very unfortunate. In the lines above, the speaker describes the hollowness of the city of Mumbai. The term beloved Mumbai symbolizes growth, development, and progressiveness. The term has an ironical significance because in reality, Mumbai city failed to stop such malpractices. कुरीतियाँ malpractices का अर्थ होता है कुरीतियाँ, like sex determination and female feticide to happen. The sordid tale of atrocity against female remained like a blot on development and progressiveness. The speaker laments about her gruesome condition. As she was the second girl child, she was undesirable for all. She painfully narrates about the atrocity done to her. She was taken out from her mother's womb into bits and pieces. Blood spilled all over gave her a look of sliced pomegranate. She was a fruit that her mother never touched. The pain inflicted in this process of killing her in the mother's womb seems to be ignored and neglected. The poet, through the unborn child, condemns the insensitive attitude of people. There is no sign of regret or realization of the great sin committed. The child is agonized to see the indifference in her mother's behavior. The indifference in her attitude is depicted as she drapes herself in grass green sari and decorates her hair with the orange stems, parijatak flower. The unborn child feels hurt to see the mother become ignorant of the whole incident. The root of the patriarchy का मतलब होता है पितृसत्ता, क्योंकि हमारा समाज पितृसत्तात्मक है। यहाँ पर लड़कियों की तुलना में लड़कों को ज़्यादा महत्व दिया जाता है. The root of patriarchy is so deep that no one tried to sense the losses. These lines express the sadness and pain of the unborn child, which no one is aware of. No one could realize her struggle to exist and live like others. Everything becomes normal for everyone, but for the unborn child, things become different. She asks her mother to look for her, though she will be found nowhere. In this patriarchal setup, the desire of this unborn child is curbed. She has been forced to leave the world as she was a girl child. She is no more a part of her mother's dream. Her desires were all crushed before she could bloom as a flower or fly like a butterfly. She is no more a part of anyone's song. The images of flower and butterfly indicate life which she could have enjoyed if she was allowed to exist. In the above lines, the child complains to her mother that it was not God's will, rather, it was the will of her parents who had arbitrarily denied her existence. यहाँ पे वो अनबॉर्न बच्ची बताती है कि ये ईश्वर की इच्छा नहीं थी, ये उसके पेरेंट्स की इच्छा थी कि वो बच्ची इस दुनिया में ना आए. Gender discrimination is not done by God. In fact, female become the victim of gender discrimination created by the patriarchal setup. She persists that her mother must search for her. She must look for her where she lies dead. It was the destination decided by her mother. The consent of the mother is the reason for resentment of the unborn child. These lines express a strong quest of identity and the craving for existence. Mother, who has also become a part of this age-old patriarchal setup, must realize this evil. Sujata Bhatt exhibits her strong female sensibility in this poem. Each and every line empathetically expresses the purpose of the poem. The images and symbols have been aptly used to arouse the feeling of pain, agony, despair, distrust, and apathy. The images of sliced pomegranate, smell of formaldehyde, arouse a feeling of pity. The monsoon slush, rushing traffic, and neon blue describe some moments of the living world. The wind that sulks through the city of Mumbai is an image of disappointment that the beloved city of Mumbai proves of. The harsh reality of Mumbai is evident in the lines of the poem. The evil of female feticide, which is prevalent in our society, is inhuman and unnatural. ये बिल्कुल अमानवीय और अप्राकृतिक कार्य है. The poet has successfully created awareness towards such evil practices.